Gonna apologise in advance for the horrible microphone quality on this one. I've got a new computer which has much better specs. I assumed the mic would be better. It seems I was very, very wrong. I will see about fixing that in future episodes, but I recorded the whole thing, so sorry. Here we go. Afternoon, everyone. It's Harry again for Sexy Geeky. Sorry it's been so long since I've said anything. I've had a lot of other projects on. It's currently Inktober over on Tumblr. I don't know if you guys know, so I've been drawing a thing every day of the month. The previous 2 months, aliens. I don't know. I don't really have an excuse. I've had a part-time job. I've switched jobs, so I had to get used to that. I've had less free time. Strangely, despite still being part-time. All things are going relatively well in the Harry sphere. It's all cool. Today I wanted to talk a bit about something because I knew I wanted to do another podcast for ages. I had another podcast planned and there were ideas, and it just lost its relevancy in time, so it fell down the toilet. Such a shame. But for the longest time, I've not understood why people within the LGBTQ community? Ooh, that could be fun. Community. Within the community, some people have this passionate hatred of, like, Gaga and Macklemore. People who write songs about diversity, but aren't blatantly queer in all aspects of themselves. You know, like the other really big mainstream good singers we have who do songs about queerness, like, you know, no one. There aren't any. The two people who get into the charts writing songs about diversity are being shunned by the diverse community for doing it at all. And so this made me angry for a very long time, and I've tried to think of why people would hold this view, why people would dislike this. And recently, Gaga put out a new song. Well, it leaked the song she's using as the Machete Kills trailer, called Aura. Working title was Burka, and I twigged why people don't like this stuff, and that's because the Aura is a really fun song, very energetic, it's pumping, great for trailers, but it's also kind of terrible, because of many reasons. For one, Aura sounds like it's made of 3 different songs. There's the bits at the very beginning, where she's like, the bit about I killed my former and left her in the trunk on Highway 10, but which is it's a good little bit. It's part of a good song, but it's part of a different song. It doesn't make any sense fitting with the rest of them. It's not about a murderer, the murderess being just really cool and hardcore. It's about a woman, as Gaga is quite good writing about, a woman who is incredibly sexual, but in control of her own sexuality and teasing a little. That is basically the premise of it. But in it, twice she mentions the burqa. Oh, and then there's the 3rd song, which makes no reference to anything else. Which is Enigma pop star is fun. She wears burqa for fashion. No, bad Gaga, stop! What are you doing? The song was doing really okay until then. That whole verse isn't anything about her. It doesn't make any sense. Enigma pop star. Gaga has one of the most open relationships with her community and with the listening fan base of anyone. She selfies. She puts out half-cracked work on her own YouTube channel, just like, hey, look, I made a crappy thing. You want to have some fun with it? She is so naked so frequently. She is not an enigma. Everyone knows everything about Gaga. It's very easy to do. You know, she's fucking nuts, but in a good way, and I don't think the word enigma can be used to describe her at all. And she wears burqa for fashion, and that verse helped me realize what some people don't like about these things. This and Born This Way have a thing in common, in that while Gaga is bi, very, very bi, and people saying that she's straight is committing to bi-erasure, which I know is a thing that people hate people saying, but seriously, bi-erasure, it is the thing. come on, bisexuals exist. Please let them friggin' exist. Gaga is one, very much so. The thing is, when Born This Way talks about transgender people, people of different races, and when Aura talks about a woman behind the burqa, these aren't autobiographical songs. They can't be, because they don't refer to her. They are characters or songs written by a white woman about a hypothetical other person. And for some people, it's not a good thing, it's not a dumb thing. Because, and it makes a lot of sense, because music is typically a very autobiographical genre. It's something that you write about yourself. As that's what people typically assume all the damn time. And it works because there's so many people writing right now who do songs about themselves, more so than ever before. So there's like, Jessie J writes songs about herself, LOVE was about a relationship with hers, and there was, there's a queer person who's popular, yay. It's a shame the second album really isn't matching up to the first one. You'd think that wouldn't happen. The first album was her writing for other people, and the second album was her writing for herself, and it got worse. I don't understand how that could happen. Whatever. Back on track. So there's people like Jessie J, and there's people like Taylor Swift. Every single song Taylor Swift writes, really, is about her, about her relationships, and that's fine. But people tend to associate this with music in general nowadays, that it is something about their own story. And the thing about Aura is that it definitely isn't. And instead, by saying Enigma pop star is fun in the third person, it puts across the idea that she's made this character who is a Muslim woman, who is supporting her own song. She's fictionally made her own fangirl and said, this is what people will like this about this song. This is the kind of reaction I'm going for. Like it. Please like it. And it's so self-absorbed. I think the reason it's such a borderline thing to even talk about is that she didn't make any statements about Muslim women or Muslim culture. It was just about wearing a burqa at all. And that made it quite culturally appropriative. It's like, I was thinking on Tumblr a while back, where someone got really angry about people posting pop stars with bindis, the little dots, jewel between the eyes and on the forehead. And I didn't see why they got so angry about it, so I asked them. And after several people made terrible comments, one person answered me, and they said it was because the bindi actually is way more culturally sensitive than people think. It used to be a thing that people were forced to wear, and some people are still forced to wear them. It can be seen as kind of a mark of subjugation for some people. It's a very tensor issue, like the burqa, and it makes sense. And the burqa, similarly, it's great when people choose to wear it. Hell yeah. It's terrible when anyone forces women to wear the burqas, or if a governmental body decides to force women not to wear the burqa. It's the same friggin' thing. Don't do it. Even darts has this right. Darts. It's not the most, intelligent, philosophical of sports, but even in darts tournaments, legally, the only piece of headwear you're allowed to wear is a turban. Because religious beliefs, I think it goes into Sikhism, and it's like, yeah, wear one, doesn't matter. You're not going to conceal any dart firing laser sight technology within a friggin' turban, it's all cool. So yes, sorry, distracting. Going back to Gaga. Going back to Gaga and Aura. Basically, Aura isn't about her, and that's the first thing that caught people annoyed. Which I think isn't fair. You should be able to write songs about whatever the hell you want, because that way you can actually write songs about stuff that is cool and matters and, raise awareness of things. But the thing she chose is something that she has not suffered any of the difficulties of. I saw a great YouTube video a while ago by someone, it might have been Silently Awake, or it might have been Soundly Awake, talking about how, it was very wrong on Tumblr, talking about how equating gay people to straight people is actually not helpful at all. The idea of going, we all bleed red, and we're all the same, it doesn't matter. Don't hate on gays, it's the same as being straight. Like, while that is a want, it is not the truth. The truth of the matter is that the gay community is gay people, individuals, not me personally, so I can't really talk about that. I have a lot of fear of being a gay individual, but I don't have any harassment and experience that as such. How to say that there isn't a problem, we should let it go, actually takes away from the amount of discrimination and hardship and murder and legal differences and suffering that the gay community goes through in order to exist at all. And to negate that is terrible. And if you apply that to burqa, it makes sense. It makes so much sense as to why aura is problematic, because it's a commentary by someone who doesn't know what they're commenting on, and doesn't even go into the stuff that's commenting on. It's just saying it's a piece of cloth. I mean, I like the idea behind burqa, saying it's just a piece of cloth. It's cool. It's just a piece of cloth. It can be cool. It can be fashionable. I can wear it for whatever damn reason I want to. It's not for you to judge. And yeah, that's cool. And then it's also quite sexy because that's what Gaga does. It's just, yeah, no. Making a thing about a murderer behind a burqa, who's also a sexually active woman who chooses to be behind a burqa. And a bit about arranged one man to love. Okay, clearly this is about Muslim women, but not really going into being about Muslim women, so it's kind of half-assed. Yeah, I think that song gets a no in general. It's a lovely tune. It's a really lovely tune. Just no, sadly. Now, I want to contrast that for a moment to Macklemore and Same Love, because I've seen a lot of Tumblr hate about Macklemore because he's a straight white cis guy. They've used the word straight white cis guy, even though his whiteness has nothing to do with Same Love being about homosexuals. It's nothing to do with race. Leave his whiteness out of it. It's not part of the point. God damn it. I mean, Macklemore's clearly very metrosexual himself with his hairstyle and his massive, fluffy, furry coats and everything. He's very metro. So you can see why he would feel a level of association with the gay community, which makes sense. I feel more association myself with the trans community than the gay community, because the gay community, for the most part, from what I've seen, pride parades, the humour, the culture, everything revolves around sex. And I know it's not entirely like that, but that's the reason I don't really go to much gay-centric stuff. I prefer things that are more queer-centric or trans-centric, because that's more about body and acceptance and discovery and questioning. I like that. I like that so much more. Similarly, I can understand why Macklemore might not be too interested in being part of the straight community, partly because the straight community isn't really a community. It's really more of a patriarchal community, and the patriarchal community is incredibly hyper-masculine, and femininity needs to die or be shamed or embarrassed. There's 100 different terrible things you can call a woman, usually devolving them to animals, but the main thing you use to insult a man is by calling them female, which is the worst fucking thing in the world, which is terrible. And Macklemore's song, Same Love, I adore. I love it so much. It's so pretty. And people hate on it because it's a straight man talking about gay stuff, and that shouldn't happen ever. Yeah, because, Joss Whedon shouldn't be allowed to write anything about gay stuff either, should he? No, of course he freaking should, because he's a good fucking writer. That's how this works. If the people who wrote things, music and films and television, were only allowed to write characters out of their own pool of knowledge, then A, the majority of series would only have, they wouldn't be able to have diversity. For starters, anything that's written chiefly by one person would not be able to have any genders or races or gender identities beyond what that person has. It would be stupid and stagnant. And B, there are some friggin' terrible writers who I've read the work of. You can usually find it in very, very young webcomics. Like really, really young. And good God. You can have trans writers, queer writers, all kinds of different diversity of writers, writing things but include their own demographic. And it's just terrible. Oh god. It doesn't make it inherently... Just because someone inherently is... Just because someone belongs to a minority group doesn't mean that they inherently know how to discuss it. But yeah, thanks to Burka, I finally realised what I really love about Ascend. And it's that song is autobiographical. It's about a straight guy who worries about being gay, but then realizes he isn't because it's all about stereotypes, and stereotyping is stupid, and it talks about how it's really this big thing about stereotyping affecting everyone, homophobia affecting everyone because of fear, because of the climate of shaming of people, and how it's bollocks, it's terrible, terrible things, and it affects everyone, and it should be done away with. And I love that in that song, and it's something you can totally write about as well. Oh man, it's Chris Macklemore and Ryan Williams. The song is great. And yeah, I don't think it should be hated because of trying to bring queerness into mainstream radio, into mainstream music and media. I mean, here's the main difference, is that Gaga could release a song about being a strong, independent Islamic woman and make it a fiction thing. That'd be fine. But it's the fact she profits off of it, which people feel bad about, which makes a lot of sense. You know, it's like when Jessie J became incredibly popular off of Price Tag, and how Price Tag earned millions of pounds. Like, oh man, such an irony, it earns millions of pounds. Like, no, groups of people wanted a song like this. A song about screw the goddamn money. We just want people to be the focus of things. And hell yeah, it works for that. Whereas Aura isn't an anthem, it isn't particularly empowering, it doesn't discuss the issues, it looks like, and I suppose it kind of is, as I hate to say it, Gaga profiteering off of another culture's suffering that she has not had to endure. Honestly, I would welcome more music about diversity. And you know what? Maybe it's the thing that the incredibly popular white, straight, and cis singers and musicians need to make it happen because they're there and they have the platform with which to do it. As far as gay singer-songwriters have, we only have Adam Lambert and Tegan and Sara. Tegan and Sara worked for ages to get where they are. They have been going a long, long time, and they're going strong within their own communities and fan bases. They don't really get on the radio much over here in England, I don't know about America. But they're doing good because they keep on going and going and going and going. They've got loads of albums and songs out. It makes sense. Adam Lambert, he was more through... Adam Lambert was able to use American Idol to get close to the top. It's a very good platform for some people who wouldn't normally get to some places because they're not conventional. You know, that's how that was even able to happen. Which is sad, really, because the majority of people who go on talent shows are people who would not be able to get careers without talent shows. Because, look, I've listened to a lot of Adam Lambert's music, and it's all right. It's okay. One of the things that helped push his career was What Do You Want From Me, which is a cover of Pink, who's already a massively established artist. I'll say another question. Why the hell isn't there a lot of hate on Pink for trying to include lesbianity, bisexualness in her music when she is definitely straight, and has said over and over again that she is straight? Is it because she looks like a stereotypical dyke lesbian? Does that make it okay? The fact that she may have visually had some kind of non-necessary haters coming on her because she looks a bit like a stereotype of a lesbian? That doesn't feel right at all. That's terrible. I mean, to round off this discussion, I get that music about a certain sensitive topic should really be written by people who've experienced the sensitivities of the topic, who've experienced the badness of it, because that way they can actually make a very poignant discussion or a very focused attack on what's going wrong. It's a thing which Aura doesn't do. It just kind of fetishizes burkas, but it's a thing that Same Love does, because it gets to the point, it has fantastic reason to exist, and Oh, such a lovely song. Such a good, lovely song. I cried the first time I heard that. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, those are my 2 cents on that one. I suppose since I want to do this in a podcast format, I'll do a bit of quick housekeeping as well. Let's see. Yep, currently doing Inktober. I have a separate Tumblr I put up for my comic, which I'm making very slowly. Inktober appears to be more trying to think of anything which I can make every day because it just keeps going and going. It's genderquestcomic.tumblr.com. If you want to check that out, I don't know if you might want to. But I made that. I'm not a good artist, and I'm very new to comic writing, and it's not very funny. I want it to be funny. Well, I'm not gonna, force you guys to go see it. But basically, I couldn't find any comics about pre-transitioning or pre-trans people trying to figure out their own genders. I couldn't find anything about questioning, and so I wanted to make a comic about my own experiences in gender questioning, and so that's what's going on there. Gender Quest. It's made of 2 things: questioning, quest. It's also that I try to think of it as a journey, as a quest, as a positive thing with a goal and maybe something nice at the end, rather than a harrowing of self-hatred and self-worth problems, which a lot of these things usually devolve into, especially in film. God, I want there to be more films about being trans. I really, really do. We could use something that's more upbeat than Boys Don't Cry. Please, someone make something more upbeat than Boys Don't Cry, because whenever anyone, me personally and people I know, have talked about trans media, the first thing that anyone mentions is Boys Don't Cry, and it's like, yeah, but we don't like to talk about it so much because it's a really good film, but good God, it's horrible. It's so sad. It's so tears-inducing. We need there to be other positive things. We need more people like the What's Normal Anyway comic or Rooster Tales by Sam Orchard, where it's more like, yeah, but there's niceness and boyfriends and, clothes and positive experiences and tea injections. And things have changed. Things have changed for the better. Jesus. What else is going on? I'll be at London Expo. Oh wait, no, they've rebranded. I'll be at London Comic Con. Yeah, MCM London Comic Con, 25th to the 27th of October. I'll be going there with my super awesome friend Tab Kimpton, the creator of Chaos Comics, we just finished a Kickstarter, it went super well, and he's now still working on his other comic, his new work, Shades of A, which is a parody of Shades of Grey with an asexual, and it's just friggin' hilarious and sweet and lovely, and it punches so many tropes in the face. It's totally good. You should really check it out. It's discordcomics.com. And so yeah, I'll be there with him. Things to check out. There is currently a Kickstarter going on for Queer, QU33R. There's 33 people featuring in it. And it's from Northwest Press, people who made Anything That Loves, and published so many really great LGBT media, like The Legend of Bold Riley. And that one, it's kickstarting right now. It looks really interesting. It's been put together by Rod Kirby. You should totally check that out. Other things. On October 19th, we're still working on the time. I'll be hosting another Gamers Against Bigotry hangout. This time it's a Halloween special. And we'll be talking about the negative tropes of the horror genre in video games and the effects they can have, like stereotyping mental hospitals as a place of unspeakable evil rather than a place where people, with doctors and people trying to get better and stuff and actually useful things. We want to see what good horror games are out there that we could recommend, which ones we think we should learn from and try to alter the stigma around. And so yeah, that's going to be super, super fun. And that will be on October 19th. People who have confirmed to come along so far: Susan Arendt, formerly of The Escapist, now she's managing editor of Joystick magazine, I believe. As well as Alex Stacey of Loading Ready Run, of Exim Works, and The Derp Show. And you can find more links to his work on voxlunch.tumblr.com. I will also be joined by one of the creators of the Asylum Jam, a gaming jam where within a short amount of time people try to make games that are related to mental health and horror, related to horror without setting it in an asylum, just to combat that stereotype. It looks to be super, super fun, and maybe we'll see you there. So yeah, keep calm and panic on. See you guys later.